Welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank y'all for joining me again tonight. As we do today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. This, of course, will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning that you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. Because this will be the first time that I hear it or read it right here on this podcast with y'all. So I'm looking forward to seeing what today brings. And purpose was yesterday. And I love how these are structured because this wasn't the first one we've had this year about purpose, but I like how these themes are getting reintroduced and in different ways with different perspectives. Just enough of a change to bring it back full circle, and that's something I'm really grateful for. So let's go ahead and get right into it. This is November 8th reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. All things at last yield to the silent, irresistible, all-conquering energy of purpose. The weak man, who grieves because he is misunderstood, will not greatly achieve. The vain man who steps aside from his resolve in order to please others and gain their approbation will not highly achieve. The double-minded man who thinks to compromise his purpose will fail. The man of fixed purpose who, whether misunderstandings and foul accusations, or flatteries and fair promises, rain upon him, does not yield a fraction of his resolve, is the man of excellence and achievement, of success, greatness, and power. Hindrances stimulate a man of purpose. Mistakes, losses, pains do not subdue him. And failures are kept in the ladder of success, for he is ever conscious of the certainty of final achievement. The intensity of the purpose increases with the growing magnitude of the obstacles encountered. I enjoy this one, but I'm trying to figure out which part I like more. There seems to be distinctly two parts of this. The part about what will derail someone's purpose, a man on his purpose, what weaknesses, at least a couple of them that they can have. And then also the understandings of those who have a fixed purpose, determination, and discipline, really, and the difference that takes. So I really do enjoy that. All right, let's go ahead and we'll read this again because it kind of struck home with me about a lot of things, honestly. It really resonated with me. Especially the distractions, if I'm honest. So, let's go through it again. All things at last yield to the silent, irresistible, all conquering energy of purpose. So, unwavering purpose and determination, especially when it's aligned with right, just with right, I was going to say, but righteousness and goodness, everything will yield to that. Everything will surrender to that will. Which is a pretty interesting understanding to have, especially when you accept that as truth. So the only failure is on ourselves. If something does not work, it's merely because we gave up. I like that. All things at last yield to the silent, irresistible, all conquering energy of purpose. The weak man who grieves because he is misunderstood will not greatly achieve because he can't. When you think the world's not treating you well or the world's being the bad guy in your life, how can you achieve in that same world? You're constantly fighting it. Of course, you're going to fail. The vain man who steps aside from his resolve in order to please others and gain their approbation will not highly achieve. Now, I'm going to look that up. I believe I've looked it up on this podcast before, but why not another time? Approbation. Approval or praise. Okay, that's what I thought. So those who look for approval of and praise of from others will not highly achieve. I think that's the one that stuck out to me because I looked for that for so long in my life. I looked for just the accolades of someone else to verify or validate and affirm that I was doing well and doing the right things, and everyone in the world thought I was too, or at least the ones I asked about it. So I was building this fantasy for myself to confirm what I needed confirmed to be able to walk through and exist because I was such an insecure person at the time. The double minded man who thinks to compromise his purpose will fail. When you compromise on the aim, on that purpose of service, and how you will implement that, when you compromise on it, you will fail. And I believe that. I believe all of these things. It's easy for the animal part of us, the human part of us, to decide that, hey, you know what? I like the easier road. I like the one that makes me feel better right now. I like the one that takes the burden of responsibility off me, at least some. That's how self-serving we can be. We short ourselves if we follow those things. We short ourselves if we have these behaviors. And it's so unfortunate. But it happens all the time. We have to be like this next man, the man of fixed purpose, who, whether misunderstandings and foul accusations or flatteries and fair promises rain upon him, does not yield a fraction of his resolve, is the man of excellence and achievement, of success, greatness, and power. That's what we're looking for, right? That sense of achievement, excellence, success, brightness, power. That's what so many of us want, right? Well, let me tell you, the reality is, though, success, greatness, and power is really a side effect of living well. It's really a side effect of living spiritually. So that can't be the aim. If that is your aim, you will fail at it every time. I guarantee you. Or any modicum of any of that success, greatness, or power that you achieve through selfish, self centered, and inappropriate ways will only be temporary. And you'll always be scared to lose it. That fear would always be crippling. So, the man of fixed purpose, determination, and focus, whether misunderstandings and foul accusations. So, regardless of what people are saying about him, purposeful or uh, accidental misunderstandings and foul accusations. So, intentional debasing of someone's character. or flatteries and fair promises. So those who just are trying to win your approval over, or trying to coerce and manipulate you, does not yield a fraction of his resolve. You go in with this direction and determination, and you do achieve it, and you will achieve it. And you have to maintain that course of action. You have to maintain that direction. Because it's easy to fall one way or the other. But if you want to be a man of excellence and achievement, of success, greatness, and power, you cannot yield your resolve. You cannot soften. You can't backtrack. It's constant moving forward at the pace you've been at. Now, this last part, which is one that's commonly talked about a little, well, relatively commonly talked about. Hindrances stimulate a man of purpose. Mistakes, losses, pains do not subdue him, and failures are steps in the ladder of success, for he is ever conscious of the certainty of final achievement. So, we're talking about framing here. We're talking about, how do you view things? Do you take the obstacles and the challenges and the failures as an opportunity to learn and grow and change your own implementation? Isn't it an opportunity to become the individual that you always intended yourself to be? Mistakes, losses, pains do not subdue him. When you have that driving purpose and something fails, all you've done is found a way it won't work. So you best try a different one, right? It's another learning experience. We have these all the time if we're willing to see them. We have them all the time if we're willing to just open up our eyes past it, focusing on ourselves, which unfortunately does not happen nearly as often as I would hope it would. How it ends that paragraph, though, for he is ever conscious of the certainty of final achievement. So the end goal will always be there, and being thoroughly convinced of the fact that it will continue to be there, right? We're conscious of the certainty of final achievement. We believe, and well, more so, we know it will occur, it will happen. The right and just thing will happen. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, next month, or next year, or next decade. It will always come back to haunt us. All right, now the closing thought here. The intensity of the purpose increases the growing magnitude of the obstacles encountered. So the bigger the obstacle, the more dedicated and intense a person will come to. The more resolution, and the more someone has to really commit to walking through in a sober way, in a healthy minded way, it's growth from that. So the bigger the problem, the more growth you're going to have. And the intensity at which you apply these principles will probably grow with every indecision and problem. So, all right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for joining me again tonight for the November 8th reading. I like this course on purpose that we're taking. It's very, very revealing for myself to make sure I'm checking my motives, and make sure I'm actually doing the things I'm saying I'm going to be doing, things like that. So, all right. Well, thank y'all for joining me again tonight, and I look forward to tomorrow. So, until next time, thanks.